Good morning. Happy Sunday to everyone here and on Zoom who's with us. Welcome to our Sunday service. Whether you're with us on Zoom or here in person, we are so glad to see you and so glad you're here. I'm Courtney O'Neill. I'm today's worship associate, and I'm here with Reverend Lucy and Reverend Roger, along with our musicians. And our guest minister today is Reverend Aija Simpson-Newbury. She is a lifelong Unitarian Universalist who grew up in the UU Church of Berkeley. She was a seminary classmate of Reverend Lucy at Star King School for the Ministry. And then after seminary, Reverend Aija served as the minister to the Unitarian Universalists of the Cumberland Valley in central Pennsylvania. She has since moved back to her homeland and is now serving the Unitarian Universalists in Petaluma and is the parent to a 5-year-old child. Tied into our January Soul Matters theme of story, the title of her sermon today is Unreliable Narrators. Welcome, Reverend Aija. If you are new to UUSS, we extend a special welcome. Please fill out a newcomer's card, either using the link on our website or at the welcome table after the service, so that we can connect with you. Our weekly message comes every Friday by email, and you can find previous ones on our website. After the service today is our monthly newcomers orientation with a tour of the campus. It lasts about an hour, and Sandra Navarro will meet you at the welcome table at 11:45. Where is Sandra? Oh, can you stand up just so everybody knows?
Hi, everybody.
So that's Sandra. Meet her at the welcome table. She gives the best tours. If you'd like to follow the music and other parts of the order of service, you may click on the link in our Zoom chat, or you can look on our website. The Blue Sheet calendar includes upcoming activities. The Blue Sheet is also online, but can we have some people wave their Blue Sheets? There they are. All of the activities can be found there, but here are just a few highlights. Today, after the service, the young adult group is holding its monthly meet and greet for conversation about the service and to get acquainted. So look for the young adult table on the patio during coffee hour. Reverend Roger is hosting a new program this week, and you are invited to attend online or in person, as you prefer. Reverend Roger is going to be hosting a conversation with our member, Peter Bishop. Peter is a former professor at the University of Houston, and he is the founding CEO of Teach the Future, which is a national nonprofit to equip students with the skills to deal with uncertain futures and to reshape those futures. Peter, could you stand up? Where's Peter? Thank you. So this will take place this Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the library. You can also log in at uuss.org/online. Next Sunday, Adult Enrichment hosts will be hosting a talk by experts in geriatric healthcare entitled Understanding Age-Related Health Changes, Facts, Questions, and Answers. It's in the sanctuary from 12 noon to 1:30. Don't worry, next week is also a soup Sunday. Submit your questions in advance to the Sunday Connections table in the Welcome Hall. And today after our service, we hope you will join us for coffee and conversation on the patio and visit the Connections table in the Welcome Hall. Remember that if you're attending on Zoom, after the service, we have 22 minutes of conversation in smaller breakout rooms so you can all get to know one another. And now it's that time. You know what I'm going to say. Please check your cell phone to be sure it's on silent mode. and that all alarms are off so that we can be more mindful in the service. So, and if a neighbor's device goes off during the service, please be kind and help them in resolving that. And while we're all checking our cell phones and watches and beepers and pagers and pigeons, Christopher Jensen has an invitation from our nominating committee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nothing to do with pigeons, nothing. My name is Christopher Jensen, and I'm a member of the nominating committee. I am here to announce the start of our search for candidates for the 2025 open leadership positions here at UUSS. Between now and April 15th, we are looking for members to fill these positions. The actual election takes place at our May congregational meeting. To complete this task, we need your help. Are you curious or feeling called to be a larger part of the fabric of UUSS? Are you interested in contributing your time and talents in a deeper way? You all have life and work experience you can bring to this work. There are 11 positions on the ballot, and we have information on the primary roles and responsibilities involved, in each of these positions at the nominating committee's table in the Welcome Hall near the entrance today. Please stop by and talk to the committee members. I will be one of them. That's why I have the yellow badge on. Thank you for considering joining UUSS leadership today.
Thank you, Christopher. And now let us receive our music for centering.
Good morning. Fletcher is our chalice lighter today, and Reverend Aija will offer the words for the lighting of the chalice.
Good morning. We light our chalice this morning with the words of J. Wolin. Are we a people of holding on or letting go? Holding on to rigid ideas or letting go and opening our hearts and our minds to something new? Holding on to certainty of how things should be or letting go and living with the uncertainty of being in the world? Holding on to what makes us comfortable or letting go so that we may grow that which makes us uncomfortable? Holding on to what makes us safe or letting go to make room for other people to be safe? With this flame, this symbol of our religion, let it be a symbol of burning up the ties that hold us back from being our true self and reaching our true potential. Let it be a symbol of lighting a new way to a better tomorrow, and let it be a symbol of letting go, because holding on too long and too tightly is never good for the soul.
With that said, turn a microphone on. That's what we'd like to do. We'd like to invite. We're also going to learn some English. We're going to invite all who are participating in RE to make their way out towards the welcome hall as we guide you forth in singing your song. You got to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You got to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Good morning again. I'm Roger Jones. Welcome to those who are visiting us for the first time or second or third, and welcome to those that we see every Sunday or whose names we see in the Zoom. It's great to be with you. As a caring community, we take time to hear about the causes of sorrow, gratitude, and celebration from among the congregation and from beyond these walls. If you have a joy or sorrow to tell us about, you can click on the Joys and Sorrows link in the weekly message on Friday, and you can indicate there whether you'd like us to include it on Sunday. The mission of this congregation says we come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. And on this morning, there is need for much healing. Please join with me in the spirit of prayer as I name sorrows and concerns, followed by some reasons for joy and gratitude. O Spirit of life and Spirit of love, heavy on our hearts are the horrific wildfires now ravaging so much of the Los Angeles area, where more than 36,000 acres are gone. Several human lives have been lost, and others remain missing or at risk. Many of us are thinking of relatives, friends, colleagues, and thinking as well of beloved places we have known, visited, or lived in. Thousands of people are displaced. So many have lost everything. They've lost homes, places of business, education, culture, and worship, places of natural beauty. We grieve the loss of human life, of communities, of natural habitats, and the creatures that inhabited them. We remember the unhoused and poor people and the undocumented workers who lived there. In our disbelief and sorrow, we pray for the safety of everyone, including the firefighters, civil servants, and all the other workers and volunteers doing what they can. We give thanks for all acts of generosity, help, courage, and compassion. And we pray for strength in the days to come. In this congregation, Allison Clare's brother and Theo Clare's uncle, Stephen, had a serious medical incident and has been in the hospital for more than a week with damage to his kidneys and liver. Allison is not sure when he will be moved to a rehabilitation facility. We offer our prayers for Stephen's care and prayers to Allison and the whole family for strength and peace. Tara Benavides asks us to send supportive and healing thoughts to her aunt and uncle because her aunt, who is only in her 40s, is concerned that she might be having a recurrence of cancer. She's having a biopsy tomorrow. On hospice care, our member, John Peterson, has made a successful move to a care facility. We appreciate the strong support John receives from his stepdaughter, Sybil Lawson, and we send our love to their family. And we extend our condolences to our member, Molly Jackson, on the sad loss of her daughter, Anne Elizabeth Jackson. She died last month at age 66. Anne leaves behind her husband and older brother, as well as her mother with whom she took a long walk every afternoon. We hold Molly and the family in our love. We know that among us are many other people and places in our thoughts who need strength and comfort and peace. May we remember the deep well of kindness among us and within us. Amid such tender news, let us recognize that among us are varied causes of joy and celebration, and here are a few of them. At the turn of the new year, at least 3 of our members retired from their jobs and careers with a sense of relief, accomplishment, and anticipation. We congratulate them and give thanks for their service, and we look forward to seeing more of them around UUSS. Our member, Lou Bunker, formerly known as Lisa Bunker, shares with us the joy of finally finding the right name to go along with their non-binary gender identity. That's Lou, L-U, who is now using they-them pronouns. Welcome, Lou, and congratulations. Our former ministerial intern, Rosemary Dodd, will be ordained by her home congregation on the 9th of March in Petaluma. If you've had trouble registering to attend the ceremony online or in person, we will have a corrected link in this coming Friday's weekly message. We send our blessings to Rosemary. May we appreciate one another's causes of joy, and may we extend our warmth and goodwill today and in the days to come. O Spirit of life and Spirit of love, on this day and in the days to come, give us grace, through all the joys, challenges, and losses we encounter. Give us patience and serenity when we need it. Help us to keep our hearts open. Help us to bear witness to the need for peace and liberation and help for so many members of our human family in so many places around this world. Give us the courage to not turn away. Help us to notice reasons for gratitude every day and enliven us to the ordinary miracle of being alive. So may it be. Blessed be. And amen. Now let us pause for a few minutes of centering where we are, centering in our breathing, and opening to our private prayers and contemplations. Blessed be, blessed be.
Thank you, Lucy and Irina. Today's reading is called Holding On and Letting Go by Amanda Poppy. It's spring cleaning time, and all around me, people are asking what sparks joy in their lives. I love this approach, and I can't possibly utilize it in my own house. You see, I live with 2 elementary-aged children, and their bar for hanging on to something is not, does this spark joy? But rather, is this shiny? Did I once make this? Did I once play with this for at least 3.5 minutes? And most importantly, can I cram this onto my dresser? Living with magpies, hoarders of the shiny and the sparkly, has its advantages. I've never have to face a day without glitter. But an uncluttered house is not one of those advantages. As someone who likes clean surfaces, it's hard for me not to throw away things when my children aren't looking. Surely they won't remember the rock they picked up 4 months ago on the way home from school. Sigh, they always do. So I've learned to ask, are you ready to let go of this? I, of course, like the question because it assumes that someday they will be ready. They like the question because it doesn't assume that day is now. Isn't that always the way? We have all kinds of things in our lives, things that no longer spark joy, memories that make us sad, anger that we are holding on to. Sometimes I know I'm hanging on to a part of my life that I'll eventually need to let go of, but not just yet. I can give myself the gift of patience, waiting until the moment is right to say goodbye to that old rock. There will be more space on the dresser top then for something new and glittery, or just for the smooth surface of possibility. Are you ready to let go of this? This 3rd grade book report? This broken pink headband? This grudge, this sorrow, this particular hope? When you're ready, you will know it. And until then, it's okay to keep it just a little longer.
We invite you at this time to rise in body or spirit, to join in singing Turn Back.
Turn back. As part of living out our mission to be a force for healing in the world, we give away half of each Sunday's offering to an organization that is doing this work. Our community partner for January is Sacramento Area Congregations Together, a consortium of faith-based groups that include many churches and other religious institutions. And we are active partners with SAC-ACT. We are engaging with SAC-ACT now on a lobbying day that will be on January 27th, a lobbying day with our state legislature around homelessness and housing. And there will be a training for those of you who are interested in participating on January 26th after the service. And I think there's a table today for signups. I see Meg Gunderson nodding. If you're interested, we will be with you. You will go as a team, and we're going to develop our skills to approach our legislatures on matters of justice and bring our values into the political sphere. So I encourage as many of you as possible to get involved. There's ways to participate even if you can't be present on that particular day. And I encourage all of you to give generously to this important organization that is really making a difference in our community. The morning's offering will now be given and received. As the ushers bring forward our offering, please join me in our unison response. May generosity bless our world, and may gratitude nourish our spirits.
Good morning. I am Aija Simpson-Newbury, and I am so delighted to be here with you this morning. There's something particularly special about coming to visit our congregations to get a sense of connection with our co-Unitarian Universalists, to see the places that you call your religious homes, to feel the spirit that each and every one of you brings to this building. It's an honor to be here with you this morning. And it's made particularly special for me this morning because I get to see my seminary classmate, Reverend Lucy, which gives me the opportunity for a little bit of gentle, hopefully non-toxic nostalgia. To remember a time at the beginning of my ministry when we were young and unformed, or younger and less formed, uncertain of where our ministries would take us. Well, I was uncertain of where my ministry would take me. Lucy always seemed to have it quite together. I'm sure she had a plan. But I wasn't sure what kind of minister I might want to be, what kind of ministry I might want to have, which is another way of saying I wasn't sure what kind of person I might want to be and what kind of life I might want to have. I was in the process of imagining who I would be in my life and in our faith. So I wasn't sure. But there was one thing I was absolutely positive I did not want to do in my ministry. No religious education. No kids. And this was partially personal preference. I was at the time childless by choice, and happily so, and had you asked, forever so. You might have heard reference to my son in the intro, so life changes. And I was also the kind of only child who had really liked being an only child. Other children seemed sticky. It wasn't for me. So it was partially personal preference that made me look at that wing of the church and be like, no, thank you. But it was mainly professional concern. Because for the long history of religion, certainly of Western religion, if women felt the call to ministry, the only option was children. Or taking a vow of silence, which also seemed like a non-starter. For the history of especially the Christian ministry, which is the tradition we come out of, if a woman felt called to the ministry, she was asked if perhaps she would like to hang out with the kids. In this country, for most of our history, and for many denominations now, the idea that the woman would be here and the men might be out there was unfathomable. And even in our own denomination, for much of our history, women did not talk to adults with any kind of authority. And we worked on this earlier than some. If you ask any current seminarian, or anyone who has one of those famous Unitarians in History t-shirts, are you familiar with what they would tell you that either Olympia Brown or Antoinette Brown Blackwell, a Universalist and a Unitarian respectively, were the first women ordained to the Christian ministry in the United States. And if you ask a Methodist, they would say, we don't count, and they have someone that they list. But in the 1850s and 60s, Unitarians and Universalists were the Christian ministry, and we ordained a couple of brave women. And I am proud of those women. And I am proud of the women who followed in their footsteps, who insisted, no, I belong behind the pulpit, who built churches, who went to congregations that were less popular, because that's what happens, right? You can make your way in. And there were enough of them. And it was enough of a movement that we actually have a name for this movement of women. We call them the Iowa Sisterhood. Because for much of this country's history, Iowa was actually a super progressive place to be. This group of women who built churches, they built buildings, they grew congregations and spoke on the local lecture circuits, and it seemed like this moment of breaking through. And there was a moment where our denominations, respectively, could have said, oh my God, look at this amazing pool of untapped talent that we have. Won't it be amazing to pull them in, to broaden our ministry, to think about who we can be for the future? And that moment did not happen. Instead, Harvard, then the primary seminary for ministers to the Unitarian and Universalist tradition, started a new path, a new degree for sort of like church assistants, by which they meant religious educators, and tried to funnel the women that way. And thus, for another 60 or 70 years, there were no women in our pulpits, and we needed another generation of pioneers in the 60s and 70s and 80s to push through, to say the women sometimes can talk to the grown-ups. So, young minister, female, no religious education. I am not someone who responds well to being told what I can and cannot do. So the story I told about what my ministry would be, even when I was uncertain of so much, was a story where there would be no kids, all preaching all the time. And I tell you that and I ask, can anyone here guess what my first job was outside of seminary? I was the minister for youth and young adults, which is everyone in the congregation age 11 to 35, which is a pretty big range until you consider that 11 to 35 is our least well-represented demographic in Unitarian Universalism and churches in general. So in a congregation of about 700 people, that was a couple dozen. And I spent time with our young adults trying to figure out what would call them back into our communities. I sat with our youth as they grappled with what it meant to be faithful people as they emerged into the world. And the biggest thing I did is I ran our coming of age program, which for those of you not familiar is sort of our response to equivalent of, say, a bar or bat mitzvah, a confirmation, a notion that you are coming into a new part of your life. It's a year-long program. We ask these 11 and 12-year-olds to grapple with really big questions. Who are they? What do they believe? What are they trying to carry into the world? We spend a year, and I don't think it's an accident that our understanding of what it means to move into a different phase is to think about what you believe and what you're going to say. And at the end of the year, we ask them to stand on our chancels and declare, this is what I believe. This is the ground I will stand on. And I have often wondered what it would be like if we asked all of our adults to do the same thing. But we have a long history of seeking bravery from young people, and they usually rise to the challenge. So sitting in the back, watching these kids, weeping, with some new information about myself, in addition to new information about them. as they stood there and took seriously their responsibility to be faithful people in the world. I had a moment of recognition that just because kids and young adults and youth were the place that we had put women did not mean I needed to take their faith journey any less seriously. Just because it had once been the only option did not mean it wasn't an important option. And I had a choice about what to do with that information. Because when we learn something new, it can be tempting to say, oh, okay, go over there. No, thank you. It can be hard to reimagine the people we have always known ourselves to be. The people who told stories, maybe from the chancel and maybe just to ourselves, about who we are. And the stories we tell about ourselves matter a lot. The ways we understand ourselves are what gets us through the day. It helps us be brave when bravery is hard to find. In the coming weeks and months and years, a lot of us are going to be leaning on our understanding of who we are to make choices for justice, to show up at lobby days, to put our bodies between those most vulnerable and the potentially terrifying power of the state. Who we say we are matters. Who we say we are to each other, the promises we make to each other matter. The way we understand our lives gets us through our days. But sometimes, the way we understand our lives can keep us from moving forward. It's the beginning of a new year. We are all still in the moment where if we made resolutions, we have not yet let go of them. Gyms are still fuller than they were before. Phones are being put down more often. Meals are being cooked at home. We're in a moment of reflection, a natural point of saying, who am I? How do I want to be going forward? What stories have I told about myself that are no longer helpful or no longer true? And what parts of my spirit are going to get me forward into the new year? The poet, Lucille Clifton, says, I am running into a new year, and the old years pass like winds caught in my hair, like strong fingers, like all my old promises. And it will be hard to let go of the stories I told to myself about myself when I was 16 and 26 and 36, even 36. But I am running into a new year, and I beg what I love and I leave to forgive me. There are parts of our lives that we need to cling tighter to as we run into the new year. And there are parts that it is time to let go. New stories to tell. Old stories, old lives that we beg to forgive us as we leave them behind. What story are you ready to tell? Let's find out, shall we? Amen.
Quite a mission set forth there. Let's sing about it. My life flows on in endless song.
My life flows on in endless song.
With lamentation, I hear the real, the far-off hymn that is a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear
As we extinguish this chalice, please join me in speaking our intention. We extinguish this flame, but we carry the light, love, and commitment of this gathering into the days to come.
I invite you to reach out to one another, reach out to us. If you're at home, we reach out to you, and please reach out to us as Reverend Aija gives us a benediction.
We come together. We reach out towards each other to be reminded that we need each other more than we know. We need each other when we would sing a new song, and we need each other when we would tell a different story. Go out into this world. Make the good kind of trouble. Come back and tell us all about it so that we might get into trouble too. Go in peace. Come back in love. Amen.